Hi there, everybody. It's Dr. Chris here. Happy Tuesday, and thanks for joining me for my this episode on aroma alchemy. And tonight, I wanted to talk about the respiratory system and supporting it with essential oils. And it's such a great way to naturally. Um, we have such amazing oils with Young Living, and most companies might have one form of eucalyptus. So let's just right off the bat start talking about eucalyptus, because we have Eucalyptus radiata, we have Eucalyptus globulus, and we have Eucalyptus blue. So there's three different eucalyptus oils, and those are just amazing for supporting the respiratory system. So I'm going to go over those as well as some other oils, including two of the blends that we have in the different starter kits. So in the US kit, we have Raven, and in the New Zealand, Australia, and European starter kits, we have RC, which are, again, they're both great oils with blends, and I'll talk about each of those. I'm going to talk a little bit about Breathe Again Roll-On and a little bit about peppermint. And I thought I grabbed my myrtle. I don't know where that went. I think it's probably still in my bag. And the Thieves lozenges. So amazing, all of them to help us support our system. So just a little word, because Young Living doesn't have any labels on their products, that these are not drugs, right? So they're not intended for the use of any treatment or cure of disease or any abnormal function in the body, including any ailments or injuries. We're not going to talk about disease care, but what we're going to talk about is support. So there's going to be no specific advice for different respiratory ailments, because if you're supporting your respiratory system, then you're not going to need to do anything. You're not going to have issues. So I just want to make that point clear right off the bat. If you are watching, you can say hi, and also you can send me a question in the chat if you have a question, and I will do my best to answer it. So, like I said, there are three unique eucalyptus oils, and you can basically use them interchangeably. They have different types of scents to them, and the strongest one is Eucalyptus globulus. So that is one that is from Australia. It's going to be bold and rich and earthy. So as opposed to the Eucalyptus radiata, which is a little lighter, and is, to me, I can definitely smell a little bit more of the menthol in there, that sort of minty aspect of the eucalyptus. And then the Eucalyptus blue comes in the 5 ml. To me, smells very similar to Eucalyptus radiata, a little bit herbaceous and woody and spicy, sort of like probably being out in the woods or like a eucalyptus field. But the Eucalyptus blue comes from Ecuador, and the Eucalyptus radiata also comes from Australia. And this is the one, the radiata, that's in the Thieves formula. So there's 5 different oils in Thieves. And Gary Young chose the Eucalyptus radiata because it is a gentler oil than the globulus. So it's going to be one that's safer to use in children. And speaking of that, when you're using things with children, you want to dilute them and go low and slow, meaning a little bit diluted in a carrier oil. Use just a teeny bit and see how they respond. And this is really for anybody, but especially children. And you can always apply it to the bottom of their feet, because that is where the thickest part of our skin is. So that's going to have a little bit more action to slow down the absorption as well. So as with anything, even though these are natural, We just want to make sure that it's the right thing for each individual person because everybody is different. But the Eucalyptus radiata is definitely a milder, gentler oil. So you also can find the Eucalyptus radiata in the blend of Raven. It's also in the Boswellia wrinkle cream and the Ortho Ease massage oil. So if you're looking at that. But it's got refreshing and energizing properties. And basically for most of the oils I'm going to talk about, you can put them in your diffuser. You can apply them topically. You can make like a chest rub to support the respiratory system by adding it to a little coconut oil or some other carrier oil to rub on the chest. You can use it with steam, so having a bowl of steam and creating a tenting sort of steam action. You can put it in the corner of your shower and create a sort of steam situation in that way too, or do some things like applying it to a washcloth, putting a couple of drops, putting it in the corner of your shower that the shower is not beating on to create that same sort of effect. And then, of course, you've got the Breathe Again roll-on, or you can make your own roll-ons. So these are pretty much super versatile in how you can use them, but their action is definitely all there to support the respiratory system, and I'll go into a little bit why in a second. What else do I want to say? The Eucalyptus globulus is also going to be found in the RC essential oil blend, so respiratory comfort, and the Ortho Sport massage oil, which is pretty amazing massage oil if you have not tried that yet. So it's going to have the same properties as all the eucalyptus oils. Eucalyptus blue is it's grown on Young Living's Finca Botanical Farm and Distillery in Ecuador. I cannot wait to go there. And you guys, you can go to all these farms. You just call them up and say, I'd like to come take a tour and see the farm and distilleries, and they welcome everyone to come and see what they're doing. So nothing is hidden. It's full disclosure. You can actually see where our oils come from, which is amazing. And I want to go to all the farms. Now, the eucalyptus blue is in the Breathe Again roll-on. So you've got different blends with these different oils in there. So let's go back to Raven. And I love these all. And right now I actually am in the kind of mind frame of diffusing a whole bunch of eucalyptus. It's in my bathroom, at my office. Right now I actually am diffusing it. It's just really got this clean, fresh scent, very spa-like, that it's just what I want right now. I don't know. I'm just in a groove. And Raven is along with that because sometimes I will do that instead. And that's got also a combo of Ravensara, peppermint, eucalyptus radiata, lemon, and wintergreen essential oils. So it's got that little bit of mintiness from the peppermint and the wintergreen. And I really smell the wintergreen in that more than the peppermint. So it's definitely got that. I love the smell of wintergreen. I used to love wintergreen lifesavers. Those were my favorite. So it's got those little bit of sweet undertones because of the wintergreen, which is actually very sweet. And it creates that cooling sensation because of the peppermint. And it's a great oil to use in your diffuser or on your chest or throat. Now, anything with eucalyptus is going to have a constituent called eucalyptol. So I'm going to talk a little bit more after this show. I'm going to do a separate segment just on eucalyptol, because when you start talking about these constituents and what we see in them, it starts to go in a little bit about what the research is showing. And I don't want to confuse it with talking about oils to support the respiratory system. So I wanted to kind of keep that separate. Menthol is a component of peppermint, and that is the thing that gives you that kind of cooling sensation. So peppermint is another great oil to use, and I'll talk about that in a second. And methyl salicylate is the constituent that you would find in the wintergreen. And if you can always look these constituents up and look at their uses, and you can see for yourself. But it definitely gives an invigorating and empowering experience. And these are really great to use before or after a workout, so you can increase your respiratory capacity. And I just did a show on my Dr. Christine Anderson chiropractor YouTube channel about optimal breathing and why it's so important and how to do it properly. So I'll put a link in the description here so you can go back and listen to that. But you want to be able to breathe at your maximum to be able to get in enough oxygen for your body to function. So these oils serve a great purpose in doing that as well. Okay, so let's go to RC. Respiratory Comfort. Now this is the 15 ml bottle. It also comes in a 5 ml. And this one contains the Eucalyptus globulus, Myrtus communis or myrtle oil, marjoram, pine, Eucalyptus radiata, Eucalyptus citriodora, lavender, cypress, black spruce, and peppermint. So a really, really great oil. It's a little bit, to me, it's a little bit higher on, I can really smell the, what is it that I'm smelling in here? Like the marjoram myrtle aspect of this. So even though it does have that peppermint in it, it's got a little bit more of that, I want to say like a citrusy note. It's like wines here. You smell what you smell. But I really, really like RC. And it is great to use again before or after your workout. It helps you stay motivated because it does have that peppermint in there, and it definitely opens up those respiratory passages. So Breathe Again is a blend of, it's got the fractionated coconut oil in there. So again, this is really great to have on hand if you have kids because it's already diluted. You can roll it on the bottom of their feet or on their chest. It's got three different types of eucalyptus. It's got Eucalyptus stageriana and Eucalyptus globulus and Eucalyptus radiata and Eucalyptus bicostata. And one of those, I think, is what eucalyptus blue is, and I cannot remember the name of the Latin name for it. So sorry. It's got 4 different eucalyptuses in it, as well as bay laurel, peppermint oil, copaiba, which works synergistically with all these oils to make them act better, myrtle, blue cypress, and it also has rosehip seed oil, which is really good for our skin. So it's going to, again, have those natural constituents of eucalyptol, and it's got that convenient roll-on, so it's so easy to take with you. I know I've got sort of saddlebags on my purse, and I've got all the roll-ons on there, which work really well. I'm just going to digress from the oils for a second to talk a little bit about the lozenges. If you have not tried these yet, I love these, and I will pop one in my mouth. I did it before my other talk at 6:30. So I'll pop it in my mouth before I have to speak, just to kind of clear my throat and get my kind of make it so I don't have such a dry mouth. It's got thieves oil in there, which contains the 5 different oils of cinnamon, clove, Eucalyptus radiata, lemon, rosemary. Those are the 5. And then there's some peppermint added in the thieves lozenges. I always have these on hand. I love them. So I like the cough drops too, but the lozenges are great. So as I said, they contain peppermint oil. So let's talk a little bit more about peppermint. Now, I'm going to go into a little bit of studies with this just because it illustrates that these things have been looked at and they haven't even been using Young Living oils in their studies. And they're still finding good results. But a 2013 study suggested that when a healthy person uses peppermint oil, it can actually help to relax the muscles of the windpipe and the bronchial muscles. And so this is probably why peppermint oil can help support breathing in people who are having issues with any type of breathing going on, or if they've got just a mild cough, right? So it's going to help also support healthy sinuses and open those up. And the peppermint is got the menthol constituent, which I will talk about at some other time because I love peppermint. So there's this expectorant action of peppermint that can help clear any symptoms of just mild respiratory congestion that might stem from, whatever's going around, but nothing major, just helping to support those mild symptoms. And research is actually showing that peppermint can help benefit lung health and respiratory health. So there are definitely studies that have been done where they sprayed a solution of aromatic essential oils, including peppermint. And they found that the spray application brought immediate and significant improvement in upper respiratory health. So supporting upper respiratory health. So this is, we've got these great tools here. The other thing you can use peppermint with is, especially now we're in spring, and I know when I go out for my walks that there's some things in the air that are maybe, I need some seasonal support, let's call it this way. So you can add peppermint to lemon and lavender. You can put it in a veggie cap with some oil and take it internally. That would be the vitality oils, of course, because they are used internally. You can use the aromatic ones topically or in your diffuser, again, to help support your respiratory system for the seasonal things that goes on in spring. The last oil I want to talk about is myrtle. It's somewhere floating around. I think it's in my purse, but it's another one I will probably go into more detail because this is actually an oil I've been using more often at night, applying it to my throat area. And it is supposed to, again, help support the respiratory system and help with, it has the ability to help our normal expectorant property, so keeping things out of our lungs. Whoa, well, that was a lot. All right. So just to recap, we've got our starter kit oils, Raven and RC, depending on your starter kit. I believe it was last month that we got the freebie of Eucalyptus radiata, so I am super happy about that. But we've got our 3 Eucalyptuses, Globulus radiata in blue. You can use them interchangeably, diffuse, topical, roll-on, steaming, anything like that. Peppermint, which again comes in our starter kit, all the starter kits. And there's also a vitality peppermint. So this is something you actually could take internally. And then we've got our Breathe Again roll-on and the myrtle essential oil. All right, guys, I am going to wrap this up and I am going to come back in just a few minutes. I'm going to just reset this and I'm going to talk about Eucalyptol. If you want to learn more of the properties that is actually in things like eucalyptus and a couple of other oils as well, which I'll go into when I talk about its properties. All right, have a great evening. If you have something that you want to hear me talk about, please let me know and I will do my best to help you out. Have a great evening. Oh, and of course, if you like what you just heard, please like this, subscribe so you know when I put new content on. You can share with your friends if you like. If you are already a Young Living member, great. Perfect. I'm so happy for you. And if you're not and you want to learn more about how to become a Young Living member, I can help you out with that too. And I will put links to my website and email so you can contact me so I can specifically help you with your wellness plan. All right. Have a great week. See you next Tuesday.